the listenership. Anyhow, you thought I liked anime before. Welcome back. Our hiatus has passed. Our Mark hiatus, our Mark Gatus. Thank you. We're back. We finally get to dive headfirst into Capaldi, and it's a lot more fucking miserable than you might think.
I'd like to dive headfirst into Capaldi.
Not Clara?
We'll talk about that. We'll get into that.
So yeah, we ended off with Time of the Doctor, which is Matt Smith's last one. It ends with kidneys, Clara, kidneys. It's something else. Who cares? And then we start the season on a real high note. Deep breath.
What series is this?
It's
Which one is this? It's the one with Capaldi, right? Which series is
so this episode is directed by Ben Wheatley, who's a pretty well-known British director. He did things like Kill List and Field in England, and I think he did a Rebecca remake fairly recently. But this episode looks atrocious, and it's a little strange. Anyways, this is the first one with Capaldi. We get the where'd I get this face? We get the clockwork droids. There's a giant dinosaur in London.
Oh, Series 8.
This is.
Why didn't you just tell me? Oh.
This is
We'll do it live.
This is the last episode with the what are they fucking called? The Pentatonics gang, the Putnam crew.
They had a name?
Yeah, you had your stupid book that had their name.
I did?
Yeah, the Doctor Who Monster
read that whole
Manual.
thing?
You told me what their name was.
I did?
Yeah.
It's so over. Yeah, thank goodness for that.
Yeah, so basically this is their last episode. This episode starts with the Doctor confused. He's regenerated and he's got his sickness going on. Clara is very concerned because she liked hot Matt Smith, and now she has to deal with even hotter Peter Capaldi.
She doesn't know how to.
She can't contain herself.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, take us away.
First off, what do you think about the monster? Just kind of.
It's kind of interesting because they're almost like the clockwork droids from Girl in the Fireplace, except they're like rebuilding human parts almost, or organic parts, I guess.
It's like the classic conundrum. You replace all the parts of a
Are
ship.
you still the same? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was all right. The only part that really stands out to me in this episode as kind of good is when Clara thinks the Doctor just straight up like left her to die because she doesn't know if he's like
the same guy, yeah,
if he's changed or not. So that was kind of interesting. But other than that, I think he deserved a better first episode.
For sure.
And he deserved a better first series, but we'll obviously talk more about that at the end.
And I mean, yeah, this episode is super mixed because I think with most of Capaldi's stuff, especially this series, I would argue almost his whole run, it's like this weird in between where you get one of the best scenes ever, and then it's surrounded by quite possibly the worst episode ever made. But I do think that's kind of the case here. This episode isn't atrociously terrible, but it's got quite a lot of just worthless nothing in it.
I think it's symptomatic of the whole Capaldi run because the writers, I think, all the different writers had kind of different ideas of how he's supposed to be. They never really knew what to do with him. I mean, obviously, the default is basically like grumpy old man, which
Yeah.
is good,
It's
but
always good. Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, some of them try to go the more like quirky route,
Yeah.
like Matt Smith or even some David Tennant.
I mean, it's kind of funny too, because Matt Smith, as we talked about, is almost the grumpy old man as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that's like the red pill. It's like on the
Right.
surface he's all quirky or whatever, but like deep down he's kind of like the sad old man.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Capaldi just finally matches that with his outward appearance.
Right.
But
Except he's dressed like a magician.
I
which we'll
under
get to.
my whole impression of the first episode with Capaldi is that I understand that every first regeneration episode with the new doctors is meant to be like he's out of whack and doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly. Well,
He's like
yeah, mostly.
he's like figuring himself out, or like he's like recalibrating basically.
Yeah.
But I think they really laid it on thick with the kind of quirkiness, like really hard.
I do like when he attacks a homeless man though and steals his clothes.
Yeah,
Always good.
pudding brains, or whatever he says.
Yeah. I like I shouldn't say I like. I understand why they did the Matt Smith phone call at the end, because I think
They wanted to keep their teenage
Yeah.
girl viewership up.
yeah, I think
They didn't want them all to tune out.
Moffat and the BBC, I think, had very little faith that the young audience would buy into Peter Capaldi, so they had to provide something to be like, no,
They
stick
should have just
around."
owned it.
They should have, but they did not. I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but it's also pointless.
I mean, I do kind of like the line where he's like, you know, you might be scared or whatever. I don't think this is the exact words, but he's like, you might be scared or whatever to Clara, but I can guarantee he's much more scared right now or whatever.
Right.
Basically, just saying like he needs you or
Yeah.
I need you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's good, but did we just get him on the phone or did we see him?
We do see him talking on the phone.
I feel like that wasn't even necessary. I
I
feel like it
agree,
would have
yeah.
been more impactful if it was just the audio.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get our season character arc of Am I a Good Man? Which is the name of his theme, and it's like a big part of how this season operates. It's all right. Doctor's always been a bit of a genocidal maniac, and I think Capaldi's almost the least of that. So it's kind of interesting they chose to do that with him, but I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if you have anything else to say. I'll probably just go into the notes.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
This one I think has the most notes, which, good lord,
You were the most fluid.
trying to freaking decipher what any of this means. Peter Capaldi is me. Followed by looks like shit. Fuck Ben Wheatley. Dinosaurs speak poetry, I guess. What's this meta gay ass shit? This just Steven Moffat speaking to himself. Probably, yeah. Hate crime time. Fires of Pompeii. I'm sorry. It's always
That's all.
It was scared. The boldness of dry Canada ale got ginger him. Yep, that checks out. This face. Gods, Clara, take off your clothes.
Does he say that?
I don't know. If you didn't solve an ad and we didn't place the ad, then why is my... And
Yeah.
Cuts off.
Yeah.
Wang Cheyenne reference. There's a bit of the talons of Wang Cheyenne in this. There was a dinosaur. All right, do it. Skin balloon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to kill myself. Strax moment. This next one's good. There's weed on her shirt.
That's it.
Followed by, he's going to kill her.
Oh.
And then the last note for this episode: boyfriend.
Mm.
I don't really know what
It's because
any of those mean.
it's because Capaldi probably delivers his only good line in this whole episode, where he's like, "Clara, I'm not your boyfriend,"
Right.
and it's good.
I
It
know
was good.
that.
It was a good thing to set those boundaries,
It was.
because the Doctor clearly has had a problem doing that with
Yes.
every other companion.
Grooming children. Yeah.
Yeah, grooming married women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was more on Amy though, let's be honest.
yeah, for sure.
So deep breath, I'm giving this a 3 out of 10 apparently.
Dang! Wow. I
Uh,
was gonna say 5, but I guess that sounds more generous compared to your 3. I'll give it a 4.
All right. Yeah. So then we move on to what I think is a much better introduction to Capaldi and kind of the dynamics in this run and all that, and that is Into the Dalek.
Oh, that's a pretty good one.
I think this one does a really good job of setting up, like I said, the dynamics of this season, because this is the one that starts with Clara getting coffee and walking into a closet, and the Doctor's there, and he's like, "Why do you look so ugly?" Or what one of his Capaldi lines. She's like, "Oh, I am wearing makeup." Whatever, fun. Who cares?
Yeah, hilarious.
But yeah, it's good back and forth, and I think it's good setup
Character
for
building.
their charisma, their dynamic, their chemistry. Yeah. So this episode has them shrinking down, going into a Dalek, as the name suggests.
Because it's broken.
Yes.
Because it doesn't want to kill.
And it's kind of a standard episode, really, but the end is the Daleks saw a star being birthed, and essentially went, well, our destruction of the universe is pointless. There's always more stars being birthed. And then they ruin it by going, oh no, it's just the radiation that destroyed his plate.
Well, it makes sense though.
It does, yeah.
Because I mean, if they're supposed to be like the perfect genetic soldiers, then it would have to be a malfunction.
Yeah.
But
I don't hate it, but it does kind of lessen that a little bit.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a decent setup for like the ethical dilemma or just scenario.
Do you fix him or not? Yeah.
I remember him trying to fix it or something, and dang it, what does he say? He's the Dalek says like the common line that they give the Doctor, like, "Oh, you would make a good Dalek."
Oh yeah.
But I just thought he was gonna say, "You were a bad doctor" or something.
You would make a bad doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
I was gonna
since
say
we've
it should be
seen these.
mentioned. We watched this like 4 or 5 months ago, so it's gone.
It's all gone. Maybe we shouldn't have done it that way.
The characters in this one are okay. They're not horrible. There's like the one army lady who kind of sticks it to the end that maybe she dies or something. Who, whatever.
I don't know. Give it this one's a
Anyways,
5.
Here, I'll do the notes. Shoot people, then cry about it. Sounds about right. Girl, she's a girl, some kind of girl. She's I'm here, boss. She's a girl. Followed by the last note. Ding Daleks. This is so schizo without any context.
Yeah, that's even worse than it usually is. Well, we promise we'll get more coherent in the second half.
Maybe. It's possible. So I give this one a 7 out of 10.
Whoa.
I think it's pretty solid. I remember liking it quite a bit. It's kind of standard, but it's like good standard.
Yeah.
That's about it. Then our boy, he's back. Mark Gatiss is here to give us another piping hot classic episode here. We get Robot of Sherwood.
I thought this one wasn't as bad as you remembered.
I agree. I think it was much better than I thought it was going to be. And I also think it's one of the stronger Gatiss episodes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't become super, like, there's only one monster in this house.
Was that really him?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think this one was really all that preachy at all.
No, I don't really remember it being. Like this, it's so gone by now. But I remember they're like building the sheriff of Nottingham is building a spaceship or something
Yes.
with gold.
Oh
and
yeah,
The
needs
doctor
gold.
shoots a gold arrow
Yeah.
and it takes off.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
He fights Robin Hood with a spoon and.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah.
There's
Mhm.
some dumb stuff.
I don't know. I mean, the whole conflict with the Doctor's character that episode was basically meant to be like he's competing with Robin Hood, who
Right.
he doesn't think is real in the first place.
Right.
And
he's trying to show off
I
to
thought
Clara.
even if that's a little cliche, I thought it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I thought the actor for Robin Hood was actually pretty good.
I agree.
So yeah.
Yeah. I think this is mostly fine.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say about it though. It was watchable.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess I'll just do the notes then. Gatus. She's back. And then iOS 12 sound effect in this bit.
Oh yeah. Where was that?
I think it was the alarm one, right?
Oh man.
I think they use that a couple times this season, don't they?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see. I gave this a 4 out of 10.
Wow. I'd give it like a.
I'm so fucking sick of Steven Moffat's shit.
I'd give it like a 5 or 6.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember these well enough to be like, maybe I was a little harsh.
When does
When does it get good?
I was gonna say, when does Missy start showing up? Because I feel like those like immediately made the episodes worse.
I agree. I don't like her shooting throughout the series. She shows up first in Deep Breath at the end, where the mechanical guy shows up in the afterlife, and she's like, "Oh, when are you gonna do that?"
Yeah.
Don't think she was in the 2 after that.
Okay, so I
I could
guess
be
Robot
wrong.
of Sherwood is a 10.
Is a 10? Yeah. Here's the thing: I don't dislike Missy as much as you, although
my
I
God.
do dislike her in this season. I think she gets better
I haven't seen her in anything
in
else.
the other
so,
ones,
no.
but I think her plot line in this season ruins her, and I think she hams it up way too much.
I hate her on principle for the fact of her existence, and I'll talk about that at the end when
Yeah.
she actually shows up.
Right. Okay, so then finally, after mostly either meh or dog shit, Steven Moffat comes back to write Listen. The boy under the bed sheet.
I actually, to make the episode better in my mind, I'd like to think it really was just a kid.
Yeah, I agree.
Because at the end of the episode, but he's supposed to be like, oh, it was nothing the whole time. Anyway, continue.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a really interesting episode. Again, Steven Moffat is kind of going back to his corner of the eye, turn away and it's gone, repeating motif.
Yeah, basically just he wants to pull off his horror concepts where there's like a gimmick to it.
Yeah.
Don't blink, breathe, think.
Look away.
Yeah, don't look away. Yeah.
But basically, I like this episode because I heard
it gets a sentimental twist to it.
It does, yeah. And I heard someone describe this once as there's no monster. The Doctor is like the monster of this episode. His like obsession, his need to find answers.
Yeah, or which stems from just a childhood fear of the dark.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's pretty good. Wow, Moffat actually writes something kind of meaningful.
About fucking time. Yeah, I do like all the time hopping in this. Obviously, it starts with.
Oh yeah, they really take advantage of the fact that this show is about
time
travel.
yeah.
Yeah, half the time. Yeah.
So this is this the first episode with Danny Pink, or was that?
It might be.
I think it is because I think he's introduced. Yes, because this episode has Clara and his date, which I think is very good, and it's probably the one time this season I really like Danny and Clara.
Right, it's probably the only time it was well written.
Because
it was in a Moffat episode.
Yeah, right. We get some of the great stuff, like at least I don't kill children or whatever she says.
Okay, so they're like kind of, I don't know, they're kind of riffing, but yeah, he says, I don't know how that got brought up, but it's something about like murdering children, and she's like, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry. And like she does, because everybody knows he's a veteran,
Right.
like a combat veteran, but like nobody actually knows that he murdered a child.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of introduced the weird like secondary arc of this season, which is the whole soldier.
Like, is there
doctor's a soldier?
what's a good soldier?
A good soldier follows orders.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
Whatever.
But I really like that date because obviously the doctor interrupts it. He's acting as like a chef or something, and he keeps pouring the water and spilling it.
And so does Danny Pink's descendant.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, they come back there.
So, but Danny Pink dies at the end of the. So who did
Time can be rewritten, David.
No. He dies at the no. He doesn't come back. He dies at the end of the season.
That guy doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, okay.
No. He's not coming back.
Well, what if it's just a different Pink?
Possible. It looks exactly the same.
Well, like his sister or something, or like I don't know. He like did some pumping and dumping in Afghanistan, other than emptying his magazine into a child.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we get the Clara. She's like wet in one, and she comes back, and
she is. Wait, I missed that.
Yeah, she's like in the rain, and then the doctor travels her back in time to make the date better at the end. I really like all that time hopping stuff there.
Yeah, that was good.
And then obviously they go to Danny as a child. That's where we get the bed sheet. We get he has little soldier toys, blah blah blah, whatever else. And then we go to the end of the universe where nothing should be alive, but something's out there knocking on the door.
Good setup.
Fantastic, yeah. My one problem with this episode is I wish it would maybe stay a little longer with both.
Oh yeah, because they're obviously the most interesting parts.
Yeah. However, I love how this episode ends.
Oh yeah,
I think it's very good.
Really, I didn't think you liked it as much as I did.
Obviously, we've talked about how much I like Clara and I like her relationship with the doctor and kind of how her arc builds.
Mommy. She's the mommy figure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like her encouragement incentivized him to keep going. And I know we've talked about how I don't particularly care when they make the companions like the most important person in the universe.
Yeah, they kind of wanted to do it all with Clara. Yeah. When they could have just kept it simple. They wanted her to go into his time stream and fix all of his past, and they wanted her to become the next Doctor and die for it, but come back for it anyways and get what she wants. And it's like, it's not... We'll get to that. Yeah, I know we will. I'm just saying, like, right now that I'm thinking of it.
But the reason I like it in this episode is because it's character motivated. It's not like, oh, she got a special ability that she can now, save the world. It's like, no, it's her will and character that inspired the Doctor as a child. It's not like she fused with the Doctor and became
and she was almost the thing that
terrified him because she reached out and grabbed his
she
leg,
felt the need to remedy it, and make up for that.
Yeah, and I like that quite a bit.
Yeah. And then after that, she just tells him like to just turn around and go home because she doesn't want him to. Or like she it's almost out of respect for him because I'm sure he doesn't like people poking into his past.
Right.
And that's like that's probably one of the most vulnerable moments of his life.
Probably, yeah.
So
yeah, it's good. Notes here. But why submerge his hand in goo?
Oh yeah.
He's under all our beds. And then the final note. Okay, David Lunch. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. It's almost there. I think there is some problems. I think the pace is a little off, and I would like to spend more time in all the situations it sets up.
Yeah, when I was younger, watching the whole, because my brain obviously didn't understand the like greater themes it's trying to convey at the
Right.
time when I first watched it as when I was younger, and the whole figure rising up from under Danny
Mhm.
Pink's sheets in the boarding house, like that truly terrified me, and like still kind of defines what terrifies me to this day. But now this episode doesn't terrify me at
Right.
all, especially because of the emotional aspect of
Yeah.
it. But when I was younger, I couldn't latch on to the emotional aspect. I was just all about the, oh, it's scary, the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get it, but revisiting it, I'm glad I did.
And interestingly enough, I think like Heaven Sent, this is probably one of the most like theme focused episodes where it's not like scary monster. It's like scary emotional theme.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's cool. I like that. So next we get not a trio, a duo of kind of goofy fun episodes. The first of which is Time Heist. I think these next two were no. Were they written by the same guy? I think Time Heist, I want to say, is Toby Whitehouse, maybe? Or he wrote The Caretaker. Or no, Gareth Roberts wrote The Caretaker. So this must be Toby Whitehouse. Time Heist. Time Heist.
Stephen Thompson.
Oh, shoot. I'm way off. I want to say Stephen Thompson also wrote Vampires of Venice, which this is a huge fucking step up from that.
Absolutely.
I could be wrong about that though. Basically, Time Heist is this fun little heist narrative, but the characters don't know why they're there, and there's time travel involved. Someone has set up this heist ahead of time, and they all got their memories erased
by the worm,
because there's a big goofy looking guy who molds your brain into mush, and that's kind of it. It's just a fun, goofy, kind of campy episode. I don't have a whole lot to say about it.
I think it's a little more tries to be a little more serious than you remember.
Maybe.
It's not like trying to be the most serious, but I don't think it's trying to be all that goofy either.
I think it's just
the vibes.
fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
if it's goofy.
yeah. The vibes I got were like action heist thriller.
Yeah.
Because as the team members are being picked off, the heist members on their own volition, because there's like these crystals that the architect gave them.
Right.
They don't know if they're being like zapped out of existence or just being teleported. But obviously, you know, they're just being teleported in the end because the architect, the guy who's like employing the doctor and this band of weirdos to rob the bank, is the doctor.
Yep. As you might expect, because the madam of the bank regretted things at the end of her life, especially not setting the child gooey monster free.
It was its spouse.
Whatever, who cares?
I really like the design of that monster. I'm glad they used just a big old practical head for it.
We get bipedal monsters.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the bipedal, not the stupid quadrupeds. Quadrupeds are cheap.
Cheap scares. Yeah, do you have anything else to say about this?
No, it's just a pretty alright episode.
All the characters in it. I think they're not horribly deep, but you know, well done enough where we get to know them and
they all like get a complete arc basically.
Yeah,
they like get what they needed in the end. Yeah.
So my notes are: I'm a gamer, and then iOS sound effect. So they really did use it again. This is an 8 out of 10 for me.
Oh wow!
I think it's pretty fun. I kind of like it.
Give it like a 6 or a 7. Nice. I'd give Sherwood. What did I give it?
I don't know.
I'd give Sherwood a 6 instead of a 4.
Hey, kill yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
So the next episode is Gareth Roberts. This is another goofy, stupid Gareth Roberts episode, and we love him for it. He did the Wasp and the Unicorn.
God bless him.
He did. He's got all the fucking stupid ass. Although he did do, I think he wrote both of the fat, disgusting British man episodes. So screw him for that.
What?
James Corbin. So yeah, he should die for that. But anyways,
Well, when he's not
well, the first one's okay.
when it's not pandering to like a celebrity appearance,
Right.
he's good.
Yeah. So this one, the doctor is worried about a threat infiltrating Coal Hill School, so he becomes a janitor, and it's pretty much just like a slapstick farce from there.
And this is, we talk about a lot of the present day ones, like how they're usually not
Yeah.
very good as like the in space or in time ones.
Yeah.
But this is an all right present day one.
Yeah, I like
And then we
this
get
one.
another
We'll get
decent
another
present.
even better one
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the whole kind of deal with this one is like the doctor learning who Danny Pink is, and
Yep.
that's who Clara's dating, because there's a bit they do where at first he thinks she's dating this other teacher
Who
at the
looks
school she
exactly
works
like
at
Matt
that looks
Smith.
like Matt Smith,
Yeah.
bow tie and all.
I think his name's Adrian or something.
And he's like, "Oh, I love it," and then he finds out
Yeah.
she's dating a black man, and he's
he goes
like,
sicko mode. He keeps calling him PE teacher throughout the season for some reason. Great.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of good, kind of quirky, quippy, not annoying dialogue in this, but dialogue that's fun and goofy.
What I don't like that they continued to do was use one of their students as a recurring
Yes.
character.
Yeah.
This,
I think she's the best in this one.
yeah, because I mean, you see her once, or well, not once, but this is the first time you see her, and
Yes.
it's just kind of like,
It's
whatever.
fairly short. The doctor's like, "Get the hell out of here! I'll kill you. I'll
Yeah.
eat you."
Yeah.
And like I said, I think Capaldi is great with children. He's
Mm.
probably one of the best interacting with children, even when the children aren't great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I really like the monster too. It's kind of a goofy throwback.
Dude, that thing, I highly doubt that thing could like actually move around without being
absolutely
just
not.
hauled on a slab.
Yeah. It's fun and it's
But
stupid.
it honestly looks like something almost from Classic Who.
It almost does,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything else to say. I'll just go to the notes. These ones are good episodes. I don't have a whole lot to say about them.
No, I like Danny Pink is not bad in this one either.
Yeah, I
he
like him in this
convincingly
one.
he was convincingly kind of losing his mind about the whole
Yeah.
time and space thing.
You're aliens.
Yeah.
Or whatever he says.
Yeah.
It's your alien grandpa.
He's your dad.
Yeah, I know who he is. He's your dad. Yeah, that's good. That's fun. Whose theme is that? And then CGI fan.
In the stupid Missy data bank.
Oh, that's
ones.
where it is.
Yeah.
That's what ruins this episode.
You're like, why? Why they repeated like the same CGI fan 20 rows?
Like you could just put a fan. Anyways, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. Again, it's a very goofy, fun, lighthearted episode. It's like Unicorn and the Wasp for me. I don't think it's quite that good, but
I'll give it a 6 or a 7.
It's silly, it's goofy, whatever. So we've had too much fun this season. We really need to start getting some shit episodes.
It's true.
So first we get could you tell us the name of this episode?
Kill the Moon.
Kill the Moon.
Kill the Moon. Fear the Moon. So I thought it was called Fear the Moon, and that sounded so right to me. And it turns out it's something retarded.
Yeah.
It's Kill the Moon.
It's Kill the Moon. God, this episode is boring.
They look, I'm one for bleak gray backgrounds, but they really do just go from one uninteresting gray background to the next.
Yeah, and then you look away for 2 seconds and Clara's suddenly got a Clorox bottle that she's walking around with.
It's for the germ spiders.
Who cares? Who cares? And then they blow the moon up and then the moon's back and then
the moon had a dragon in it. The moon was an egg and it had a dragon in it, and then it disappears
with no consequence.
The only good thing in this entire episode happens at the end, of course, and it's just this conflict with Clara and Doctor, because she thought he knew the answer to like the whole will humanity keep the moon or not, and he was just like toying with them.
Yeah.
So she felt like patronized. She felt like he's basically just patronizing their like humanity and also their friendship. So like you get a good performance from Jenna Louise Coleman.
Yeah, and this is the episode where he makes her choose between blowing up the moon or not, and that really pisses her off. And it's resolved next episode. I feel like they could have maybe let that go a little longer throughout the season.
Well, they say it's like, oh, this is my last one,
Right.
but it's not till the end.
Right. And then they go into kind of the addiction idea.
Yeah.
Which comes a little more explicit later on. But yeah, do you have anything else, or should I just go to the notes?
Just.
All right. Mexicans. Bad sets. Violins.
Oh yeah, it wasn't scary enough.
Yep. Good dilemma. And then look up. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. We watched this
before
one
the
2
moon
days ago.
started. Before the moon started like disintegrating and the dragon was born, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. That probably said something like that.
Who cares? Anyways, this is a 1 out of 10 for me.
Oof. Yeah.
This is a stinker.
I mean, we don't really give zeros. We basically just give 1 because like it still took something to make it. It still took money and resources, so it's like you can't really give it a 0.
There's at least one good performance.
Right, so. and the fact that there is that one scene, like, so basically our 1s are 0s.
Yeah.
And because of that one scene, I almost would be willing to give it a 2 because I feel like there are worse episodes out there, but it's just so horribly boring.
I'm gonna give you a spoiler and tell you this is not even my least favorite this season.
Oh yeah.
We'll get there, but yeah, this is not a good episode. I think this and In the Forest of the Night or whatever it's called often get cited as the worst New Who episodes. I don't think that's true. This one's bad, but it's not offensively boring or like to the point where you saw me watch another episode this season where I was screaming and like punching my fist into the wall because it was still going. It's not like that. It's just kind of boring.
I think being boring is worse of an offense than being entertainingly stupid.
Yeah, but
then there's an entertainingly stupid and just pure
aggravatingly stupid.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Anyways, then we're back with another duo of good episodes written by the same person. I don't remember their name, but this is, I think, their first writing credit, and they write this and the next episode. This is Mummy on the Orient Express.
It's Jamie Matheson.
Yeah, there you go. So this is, he's written a couple other ones, I think, and he'll write a lot in Series 9. But this is a payoff to one of the Steven Moffat sticky notes back in, I think, Matt Smith's first episode or something. He gets a call like, "What, Your Majesty, there's a mummy on the Orient." Shut up.
Yeah, that was supposed to be kind of just like the end of the episode, like, oh, look at how interesting my life is. You want to keep doing this with me. Yeah.
But I think they did it justice because I think this episode is very good.
Glad it was Capaldi.
Yeah.
That gets to tackle this plot.
Yeah. So we get a lot of good things. As you mentioned, this episode, unlike this series, unlike the other episodes till now, is really well shot.
Oh yeah, it actually had competent, like interesting cinematography.
Yeah. And we get the clock element, which I think works really well for the episode. And then the Clara Doctor dynamic is kind of the start or the forefront of it, where she's like, "This is it. You've pissed me off one last time. This is our last thing." And as the episode goes on, you realize that's not really true for either of them.
Yeah.
And then we get the monster of this episode, which is
just a mummy.
Split between the AI of the ship
right.
and this weird mummy that you see and then die.
Because the AI, whoever it is being employed by, wants the answer to this mummy like question. The pursuer, what is it called?
It starts with an F, I think.
Really?
Forsaken,
foreseen,
foretold.
Yeah. And but do we ever learn why? That's why this is the only like real disappointment I get out of this episode, is that I don't get enough. Is
Yeah.
like I honestly wish there was more. I wish there was more with the monster. I wish
Yeah.
the mystery was prolonged more, but I wish we also did get something by the end of the episode that explained how would the person that's using this AI to imprison all these smart people to figure out the foretold
Hmm.
even know about it in the first place?
Yeah.
Well, I
And
guess people know about it through like history or whatever.
myths and whatever. Yeah.
But why does he want it defeated?
Right, and that's something interesting because it feels like it's supposed to be a series arc thing.
Hmm.
Like I feel like Missy employed the Gus AI or something, but it's never
The doctor
resolved.
just says at the end that he tried to track the signal, but that's what caused the train to explode.
Yeah,
He like tried to track where it goes back to or
right.
whatever, which is it's pretty intriguing, but it's like I don't think we ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think to like series 9. I don't think this comes back. Maybe it's another Moffat sticky note that just fell off his
Yeah,
computer.
he never some schizo like long game thing that never
Yeah,
worked out.
they ate him alive before he could resolve this arc. Chris Chibnall ate
Chibnall
him.
consumed his essence.
Yeah. What are your other thoughts on this?
I thought all the characters on the train are the most compelling extras
Yeah,
in the whole season.
probably. Yeah.
Because you get a lot of Doctor Who is just introducing new people that may or may not be dead at the end of the episode,
Right.
and that either way that you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
But this is one of those episodes where I actually care about them. I don't know. It was I liked the mechanic, the
Perkins.
conductor,
Yeah.
the historian or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, really good performances from all of them.
Yeah, and they're all super well written.
At the end of the episode, they almost teased that like the mechanic could stay on as the mechanic for the TARDIS.
Right.
And it's like almost would have been really cool to see because it would have given us a new dynamic with the Doctor that we had never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Almost because like he's old man Doctor, he's like old man mode now.
Yep.
And then to have him buddying around with a guy who like can work on his TARDIS as well, like that would be just something we haven't seen before. So, but of course, they don't have the balls.
Right. Plus, Clara's hot.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
yeah, true.
let's go to my notes now. I'm gonna kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's in reference to particularly.
Yeah.
Perkins is cracked. Taxi driver theme? Question mark. Albert Einstein. I'm so sorry. And finally, this is, excuse me, a damn fine episode.
Speaking of the music, it did have some interesting music. They used the weird like 80s synth at the end with him and Clara on the beach, which is also a good scene. And they use tunes that we've never heard before in any other Doctor Who. So it's like I almost want to know who did the music for that episode and want them back.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was Murray Gold still, but
Murray, yeah.
but I guess he was just kind of like, I don't know, I'll just fuck around, see whatever this sounds like this time.
Yeah, but I think this is the first episode that really convinces me to like Peter Capaldi's Doctor, because he's like, I can't save her. Tell her I can save her and bring her here so I can figure this out. And then at the end, like
he's like, I didn't know I could save
Right.
her. I didn't know it would work.
Yeah.
But it's like, because she's like, oh, you told me to lie to her so the AI wouldn't know your plan.
Right.
But he's still like,
He's like,
but I
no.
didn't know it
He's
would
like, no.
work. Yeah.
So that's good. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. This is a spicy episode. And then Jamie comes back for the very next episode, Flatline, to do a little bit of I would argue, tied with 11th Hour as maybe the best on Earth episode present day we've seen so far.
Yeah. I probably like 11th Hour a little more.
I do too, yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty good present day one.
Yeah. So there's so much going on in this episode. So there's 2D beings that are trying to become 3D, and their energy is sucking the TARDIS, so it's dimension circuits are shrinking, and then there's this and then there's
That's pretty much it.
yeah, that's it actually. This is kind of the Clara Doctor episode, which I really like. I don't know how you felt about that.
Oh, I thought it was fine because the payoff is meant to be that it doesn't work.
Right.
But of course, it's when they change that and go
Yeah.
back on their word and just screw over that entire theme is when I don't like that.
Yeah. And that's fair.
I mean, she does do a good job. Like, even the doctor tells her, like, "Oh, you did a good job, like, playing as a doctor." But it's like, but that's
Playing is
exactly,
important.
yeah, playing as the doctor. It's like no one can be him
Right.
and get away with it.
I like the Danny Pink phone call in this one.
Oh my god, I hate those bits. I hate bits like that.
I think that was funny. She's like breaking through a window or something.
Oh well,
What's
yeah,
going
those
on
noises.
over there?
Put spinal cord on the wall. I don't know. Anyway.
I think the old man is overly evil.
Oh
in
yeah,
this.
for sure. But it's it's
kind
meant
of funny
to
though.
Yeah, it's like kind of meant to serve though as like the whole, oh, you don't get to choose who lives and dies.
Right. Yeah. I don't really have too much to say about this. I really like the shrunk TARDIS. I really like Clara as the Doctor.
The
for
effects
this
they did
episode.
with that were great.
Yeah.
Like him having to reach his hand out and like pull himself off the train track.
Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of those 2D beings coming in, you know, nervous system scattered on the wall, whatever else, the murals. I just think there's a lot of really good stuff here. I don't know
The effects of the boneless.
The boneless pizza.
Yeah, the boneless, like using the images of the dead. That effect I thought was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how you felt about what's his name? Riggsy?
That sounds right. He was all right.
I think he's fine. Yeah, I like him well enough. He does come back in Face the Raven, I believe.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
That's the reason Clara dies.
Wow.
Because of him.
Epic.
I think he's okay. I like him. I think Jamie Matheson is pretty good at writing these one-off memorable characters. I think his one fluke is that the old man is a little.
He's like comically
evil, yeah.
mean. Yeah, he's like the comically bad asshole.
Mhm.
They even do the whole. They try the psychic paper on him, and it doesn't work. Yeah. They're just like, what kind of a lack of imagination.
All right, next time. Doctor of Lies. I think that's Clara's title at one point. They're in the walls.
Oh yeah, Capaldi goes full schizo mode.
That's good. It's called the Deflattener.
He goes full schizo mode in both these episodes, this one and in the Forest of the Night, because in this one he's like, they're in the walls like more than once, and then in the next one he's like, listen to your voices.
You want to take a guess at what the next note is? It says Dick Ball Strange.
Oh.
And then it's followed by Cube Man.
Yeah, we kind of got to see what his TARDIS looked like or something.
Yeah, we did. This is a 9 out of 10 for me as well. I quite like this episode.
Wow, good. I'd give it a 7. You know, I'm never gonna be happy until Davies is back,
and then you'll be even sadder.
Probably because it won't be as good. Yeah.
So speaking of, in the next episode is In the Forest of the Night. Another episode often considered total dog shit by most. We thought there was a statue of Napoleon. It's not.
What was his name? Who was it?
Who cares?
Brendan?
Rick? Yeah, take it away.
Okay, trees took over the earth, and the Clara and Danny are leading the kids on a field trip, and then they find out trees have taken over the earth, and then the doctor's there, and he meets one of the kids that ran off, and she has like schizo voices, but it's the trees, and her sister's gone missing ever since I don't know. And fucking trees are there.
The trees,
There was a
trees.
tiger, and the trees are there to protect them from a horrible solar flare that would otherwise kill them. And they use the power of children on the internet to tell the whole world, don't hurt the trees. They're here to save us. Aside from me saying that, it wasn't as preachy as it could have been.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised at how overall restrained it is. Not only that, I think in doing so, it almost got its message across better. If that makes sense.
I thought the kids, a lot of it is like the band of characters that we're introduced to in this one for the first time is like the group of children.
Yep.
I don't like them very much.
Yeah.
I don't really like any of them.
Yeah.
Not even the like main one that you're supposed to care about. That here's the trees.
Right. It's kind of annoying.
You get these weird flashbacks, but it's of new footage that we haven't seen of like it's building the character of the children basically of the group by showing what they're like in school and showing interactions with Clara and Danny with them and the children, and it's just like kind of just feels completely out
That's
of
right.
it's
Yeah.
so it's okay. This is actually probably aside from the end, this is the second worst part of the episode. I don't even care the like whole wolves and tiger from the zoo part. That
Right.
one I don't even care about. This and the ending are horrible, where Clara and Danny are talking to each other as they're just like kind of looking on at the children, and they're all like, "Oh, they're doing so much. They're
Oh,
doing
right.
so
Like
good."
Billy used to bully everyone or whatever.
And they're like, "Oh, and they're doing so good. Look at them behave." And then they do these weird flashbacks to in school when they weren't behaving. It's
Right.
just like, why did we need to see that? That's just you trying to make us care,
Yeah.
like really hard, like trying too hard. But I thought all the children in the TARDIS and like the Doctor dealing with that was kind of entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, they save the trees, save the world, solar flare, and then they disappear. And then honestly, the one they picked for the lead child, though, actually, is probably the worst one.
I agree.
She's the worst one.
I agree.
And then her mom finds her, and then they get the trees, the missing sister back. It was bad. It was really bad. It just ends with that too. We don't even get to end it with the Doctor and Clara. Like they get their scene, and then after that, we get this one-off family character scene.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's not even like in theme with the rest of the season at all.
Mm-mm.
It's like, who cares?
This is also a Danny heavy episode, and I think this is the episode where I start to dislike him more and more.
Yeah.
I think the first half of the season he's fine or even sometimes enjoyable.
I think he's a victim of the writers in that sense.
I agree. He gets way worse as it goes on, though. Anyways, notes time. Standard defenseless little girl. Set it on fire. Torch editing. Oh yeah, there's this like weird editing scene where they have the flashlights and I don't know, who cares. I find this offensive. I don't know what that is in reference to. I had a fart, just a fart.
Oh yeah, the little girl keeps talking about thoughts, and it's so bad. She's just like, I had a thought.
His real name is Dr. Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Leans in. Trees.
Yeah, we got some cool like from below the pant line shot of the Doctor.
Yeah. I just really don't care.
Yeah.
This is a 2 out of 10 for me.
Woof.
I just really don't care.
Yeah. I'd maybe give it a 3, just because like 2 is teeter on like bad, and this isn't even necessarily bad. It's just not good.
It's just kind of boring, as we mentioned, and that's a big sin. So we make it to what is, I would say, the worst finale so far
that we've seen so far, for sure, 100%.
But we're on the first part, and I think the first part is kind of decent on its own. So
the setup it starts to fall apart in the second half.
It does,
yeah,
absolutely. So this episode starts with Danny Pink getting hit by a car. Uh,
And Clara goes sicko mode. She's like,
She
I
does.
do like her. They should have made her look more disgusting
I agree.
to make her like look convincingly depressed. She just kind of looks hot like she usually does, but she's just like got a vacant look in her face. Like the acting is on point, but the costume department was not.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I like her whole conversation she has with her grandma where she's like, it was ordinary. It was
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like that's almost again that's kind of megalomania. Like
Mhm.
that's
That's the
life.
doctor as
That's
well.
yeah, exactly. It's like that's life. That's how most people get it. It's
Right.
just ordinary, it's boring, it sucks, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's not some cinematic thing.
Right.
But because she's seen the universe and been with the doctor, she feels like she deserves more.
Yeah.
And that's actually what she says.
Mhm. It's really good. And then she goes sicko mode and tries to pull one over on the doctor and throw his TARDIS keys away, and then he's like, I've drugged you.
I put you in a suggestible state, Clara.
And I really, really like that scene as well.
It's a good scene.
It just perfectly is the climax to all the tension we've seen between them this season. And it's almost like
it made us reminiscent of Father's Day.
It did.
Because this is probably one of the only other times a companion is like, give me my dead loved one back.
Yeah. And not only that, but the doctor says no because he knows that if he brings Danny back, she'll never have come and got him, and then we have that whole paradox loop as well.
Although I think that's bullshit because they break that all the time. They do shit like that all the time. Her jumping into his time loop is like a paradox.
Yeah, but that's so like out there weirdo sci-fi nonsense that I'm willing to let that one slide. Yeah, so then the episode gets boring. They go to what is it called? 3W.
Yeah, the doctor's like, they use this is an interesting plot device that's introduced in this season, a new addition to the TARDIS where it's goop that you stick your hands into and then just
psychic circuits.
Yeah, you create an emotional like connection to where the TARDIS should go.
Mhm.
And she's thinking of Danny, obviously. So the doctor doesn't know where it's going to take him. So it's just wherever it does, maybe they can somehow undo what's been done.
Right.
And it's also very interesting that the doctor would be willing to try to do something like that that violates time and space for her.
Right. It shows just how much even now he cares about Clara.
Yeah.
And that also is this really interesting conceit that I think this episode misuses, which is I like the idea of the doctor saying, let's go to the afterlife, essentially. Can the TARDIS take us to what's beyond?
You say that, but I honestly think it gave me the impression that he wasn't really thinking it was going to do anything. He was just kind of being facetious.
Right.
But it is an interesting thought.
It is. And I like that idea. I think this episode misuses it, though, because
it ends up just being bad.
So let's get into Missy. She shows up in
full. Okay, they go to this place called 3M, which looks like the inside of this futuristic.
Yes.
It looks like the inside of this futuristic business that
like mortuary or
it's
mausoleum.
like a mortuary for sure, and it's like a future one where you get to see your loved ones rot away or whatever. And then we get Missy for the first time pretending she's an android and kissing the doctor,
which is dumb. Yeah.
And whatever. And they make the people in charge of the mortuary are like, oh, do you want to make contact with Danny? We have him right here.
He's on the phone. We also get the 3W stands for the 3 words, which is a signal they picked up saying "Don't cremate me" from the.
Because it's like your consciousness lives on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
good idea.
Already, the whole outstanding, mind-boggling finale plot is starting to fall apart.
Yes.
Where it's like, okay, so Missy is just using this data matrix thing that downloads everybody's consciousness that have died.
Yep.
Well, potentially throughout all of human history.
It's implied, yeah.
Yeah, and so she basically did that to nearly almost any human that has died.
Probably.
So that's a paradox. The whole "don't cremate me" thing is a paradox because otherwise it wouldn't be known whether or not your consciousness lives on, right? Because the whole "don't cremate me" thing is only happening because she's saving them, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, that person would have never picked up that signal.
Right. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, I just have to get every little thing that burns away a brain cell because this whole
I'm getting lightheaded.
it makes me mad. All right, keep it going.
So yeah, then we meet the doctor who I think looks like Matt Smith, but you don't.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Stuff.
We're past that point. We start to see Danny in the afterlife.
Yeah, he meets with the little kid.
We don't know what it is yet. Oh yeah, so we finally learn that he, in his time in Afghanistan or whatever, shot a kid on accident. Didn't know he was in the building.
We've all been there.
He was just spraying and praying as you do, and
I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to not care. Let's see. The doctor goes outside. The Darkwater people are Cybermen. They march out. Missy has like a stupid speech.
Oh my god, no. Okay. No. Okay. So here's the thing. The pacing and the setup, I basically went into this blind because I forgot everything about this finale.
Right. Because
it's so bad. So I was basically going into this blind, not remembering anything. I mean, I remembered Missy was there, but when the truth is revealed over the first part of this 2-part finale, that like Missy is saving all the data, his consciousness, using them. And then she's turning the dead people. She's turning their bodies into Cybermen.
Yep.
And they are only Cybermen that are like willing to do what you want and whatever if they like delete their emotion, because it can be so hard. It can be so emotionally hard with your dead or with your consciousness living on after your body has died.
Exactly.
And so then they zoom out of the 3M building, and it turns out to be this like City Hall building in London.
Yep.
And then all the Cybermen start leaving because there's a bunch of dead people's bodies in there. And they walk out of the like town hall building. And everybody on the street starts taking pictures with them, whatever. Missy reveals who she is to the doctor. She's the master. She found her way back. I don't know.
Right.
It sucks. And she's like, see, nobody cares. They're looking death in the face. They don't care, whatever. And then they all pull out guns. They like pull a gun out of like the baby carriage, which is kind of funny, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
But the whole and then they come and put the doctor and Missy in handcuffs. And the whole reason this doesn't work is because she would have had to have been allowed to get this far, to use this data matrix thing, to use all those dead bodies in that building, to create this like 3M business or fake 3M business, to use all this technology in that town hall building. She would have been allowed to have done all this if the fact is that all of the like blocks around it were like a sting operation from UNIT. Why did they let her get that far in the first place? Why did they wait for her to start her plan to arrest her?
I think part of it, and I don't give a shit, this is just me desperately trying to do anything, right? Part of it is, as you said, with her time machine, she's able to essentially collect these since the start of human history. So maybe it's implied that, like, when London was being built, she was maybe, like, bought the building, whatever, it's been set up there for a long time, and they just now.
But has she been traveling through time?
Who cares?
That's the thing, though. Has she been traveling through time, or is it just something that because they never established that, or is it something that
the Matrix? He does say it's time-lord technology, so
right.
Maybe she didn't even have to travel through time for it to work.
It just works retroactively on consciousnesses that have died, but you aren't physically going there. Because the data matrix thing is like, it's data. It's like a
Right.
computer, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
You're downloading files like people's consciousness into a computer.
Yes.
There was nothing said in there that she like had to go back in time. She's just using people's consciousness from all of human history throughout time.
That's a good point.
So it's just they didn't flesh it out. They just didn't flesh it out at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steven Moffat
Had a full Tourette's breakdown.
just really doesn't care anymore.
I think Missy's reveal is even underwhelming and bad.
Oh, absolutely.
I think she overacts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm opposed to her existing at all because I mean, like, they've established at this point that Time Lords can become female, or like they become Time Ladies or
Right.
Time Lords between generations or
Yes.
whatever. But it's just like when you've established rapport as the Master, as a
Like a brother, but hated.
like a
enemy brother,
conniving
yeah.
male rival, it kind of takes it out of it when you make it this weird female sexual thing.
Mm-hmm. I do think that aspect is weird, and I think that's, as we've mentioned with companions in the past and all this other thing, that's Steven Moffat writing with one hand, and
Oh yeah.
you know, as he does.
And all right, next episode starts.
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
I don't hate it in concept. I do think Missy this season is misused, and I think Michelle Gomez is off in this season. From what I remember, I liked her more the next times we see her.
I don't remember any of those. I might not have even seen them.
It might not be the case. We'll see. I don't think it's on her. I think it's more on Steven Moffat and his inability to write female characters that aren't just sex objects. But I do also agree that the Master's, rapport with the Doctor should not be this weird, like, sexual one. So I think that's a bit of a problem. But anyways, notes. Danny's back from the dead. The Doctor has an attack. And then finally, why? This is a 4 out of 10 for me. There's a lot I like, especially like Clara in the beginning stuff. This conceptual idea of, I mean, it's the cosmic horror idea. Like, you die, but
your consciousness lives on.
Yeah. I like that. That's
yeah.
good. I think the execution on this is pretty weak. And then it's another Cyberman episode. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, the Cybermen that were in the 3M town hall building all go up into the air and explode and start creating rain, and that rain turns everybody's dead bodies in the world into Cybermen.
Yep. So this is the actual finale, Death in Heaven. Oh my god. How are we going to talk about this? You witnessed this. I was in physical pain watching this episode.
It's pretty bad.
I was squirming on the ground. I was screaming. There's a plane crash sequence. There's the Doctor's now the president of the world. All the Cybermen are back. They're in the. See, like, this episode felt so incredibly long, but I genuinely don't think anything happens. Like, I can name 3 things. They're in the plane. The plane crashes. They're in the graveyard. Why did this episode feel like it was 5 hours long?
Okay, so Clara's still in the 3M building after Doctor and Missy get do I keep saying 3M?
3W, yeah.
Isn't 3M like a
It's
that's like a Scotch tape?
It's the Michigan Scotch tape, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Michigan Mining and Manufacturing. Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing.
3W. 3W. So she's still in the 3W building, and then one of the Cybermen are like trying to capture her, and then one of them returns after they do the whole in the air cyber pollen thing, and it's Danny Pink.
Yeah, and this is the one scene I actually like, is because he gets to see her like as she was in Flatline, where she's like, "I'm the Doctor, here's some facts about me.
Yeah.
Like, Clara wasn't real."
Right. Well, okay, so Danny Pink Cyberman saves her and destroys the other Cybermen, and then he brings her to a graveyard where other Cybermen are starting to rise from the ground, which means he like saved her and then just put her directly in danger again.
Yep.
Unless, I don't know, I guess because he feels that he's so in control of his emotions that he has the confidence to be able to protect her.
Yeah,
I guess
don't know
you could
what
argue that,
he
but
was getting at
it's
there.
obviously just like they needed this to be the final. They literally had the budget for 2 locations in this.
Yeah.
A fake plane and a
fake
fucking graveyard
graveyard.
and a fake graveyard. Holy cow.
Yeah, and this episode looks fucking awful. There is some atrocious CGI in this.
I think because of the lighting they did, I think the flying Cybermen could have looked a lot worse.
I agree.
They were not so bad. But there was a moment. So we get to see Cyber Danny remove his faceplate, and you get to see his like horrible mangled dead face because he's literally a living corpse now, being kept alive by the cyber technology. And there's a moment where he like flies into the sky at the end where they fully do a 3D render of him.
Yep.
It looks so because his face is there, so he looks like a PS2 model. Oh man. Anyway, fucking I don't know. They're in a plane trying to. It's like it doesn't make any. It's so bad. They capture the doctor so that they the unit does so that they can force him to be the president of the world to figure out this crisis, and Missy's like being detained on the plane as well, but why? Like they say, I guess it's more covert than like the airships they were using. That's why.
Is that what they say? I can't.
Yeah, that's what they said. They were like, we don't like this is supposed to be more covert. It's like a forward operating base, but in the sky, but also it's not like a big airship, so you can like easily target it.
Right.
But it just feels like the doctor isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
He's just kind of watching, and then like he doesn't even know where Clara is, and he's like doesn't really care. Like it's back to episode 1 where it's like, does he care about Clara? Does he not? It's like that shouldn't be in question at this point.
Yeah, he clearly does.
She was in the building that all the Cybermen to create the Cyberpollen came out of. Yeah. Why wouldn't he be freaking out about that? He like didn't care. It's so bad.
Definitely an oversight there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Missy escapes. Cybermen start attacking the plane. It's going down.
I think the human version of
Osgood.
Yeah, whatever her name is.
I don't even care which version because that hasn't even been. Well, they do reveal at the end when she gets a what are they called? Zygon clone. They reveal that they just like kept both of them.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yes.
Or is that not revealed till later?
Not in this episode. It's revealed in the 50th anniversary and then comes back in Zygon Invasion.
Right, but they don't address that at all in this one.
No.
So like you don't. So if you didn't remember the whole Zygon thing, like you would have just figured she was dead. Mm-hmm. Which is whatever, honestly.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank God. And so the doctor gets a call from Clara, and she's like, "Oh, Danny's a Cyberman, and he wants me to turn off his emotions." And he's like,
"You do that, you'll die."
Yeah, because he'll lose his emotions and kill her, and then he like goes to the graveyard where they are, and Missy's there too because she flies down on an umbrella. You missed that part.
Oh, I remember that.
It was incredible, and
I remember that. Yeah.
And the main unit bitch like fell out of the plane. We don't know what happened to her either till the end.
Kate's, I know you disagree with this. She's the only one of these characters that I can stomach and like am fine with putting up with. As for Missy in this and Osgood and all those other people, I could not give less of a shit.
I don't think Kate is all that great. I don't
think she's great, but I
don't think her
I'll put up with her.
I don't think her performance is good either, though. Honestly, I don't think she's that great of an actress. But so then what happens? They're all okay. So they're all at the graveyard now, and Missy reveals that like they say as this is all happening, they say that it's happening all over the world.
Yes.
I don't even think we get any stock footage of any other fucking country.
No, I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
We might get like we might have gotten like one news anchor saying it's happening all over the
I think
world.
we get a couple of news anchors.
Like that's it. Like at least in the last like Cybermen one, was it Doomsday? Like they at least had to. Man, they really like associating Cybermen with like dead humans.
They do
because the ghosts thing.
was Ghosts, the Army of Ghosts.
Yeah, the Army of Ghosts. At least in that one, we actually got some stock footage of a bunch of different like notable places around the world with Cybermen in them. And this one, they don't even bother.
Right, that's not a great episode, but it's a lot.
At least they tried.
Stronger.
They tried. And this one, they like just put crap on the plot. They like didn't even care. There's so many contradictions, you can't even keep track of them all.
Yeah.
And like I'm one to give Doctor Who of all things the benefit of the doubt,
Right.
because it's sci-fi, but it's just stuff like it's the underhanded stuff. It's the underhanded stuff where Missy is allowed to do this whole operation, but Unit knew about it, but then Unit doesn't do anything about it until she starts her master plan. That's just bad writing. And because like I was saying before we recorded, that a lot of the like major villains or threats in the season finales are able to get away with what they get away with because they're like all powerful and completely unpredictable and have won over on like the entire world and all the world governments.
Yeah.
But this is the one instance where Unit and like humans had the knowledge and had the upper hand and would have been able to like stop this before it went anywhere. But they didn't.
True.
Like I know she has the whole data thing, but it's like she wouldn't. That in and of itself isn't a threat, other than the whole turning people into cyber people, and then the cyber pollen thing. But you could have stopped her before she started creating Cybermen.
It's true.
So anyway, finale, final scene. They're in the graveyard. I don't remember what happens.
Yeah, Danny like blows them all up. He takes the control chip that Missy was gifting to the Doctor.
Because she's like, you've always wanted an army. Like, okay, this is
the soldier thing.
This is semi-interesting because I mean, she has kind of a point. She's like, of course you've always wanted an army, and it's like at first that sounds ridiculous, like the Doctor with an army.
Right.
But it's like, but being a veteran of the Time War, you could think like he can go back now at any time, in any point in time where he's lost, because he could have used like manpower like that. Now he has it,
and
or
I mean,
whatever.
Think about. I know I don't love this episode, but you liked it a little more. Think about what is it called? Voyage's End, the last Davies finale, where everyone comes back before the specials. I think the Daleks have Davros has a line there where he's like, "Look at all the soldiers, look at the army you've put together." And so it's kind of almost the same idea there, just on a much more literal, bigger level.
He's like, look at the children of the Doctor or whatever. But spider. The whole I can't. The season finale is so bad. Oh, why'd you make me think about this again? It just hurts my brain, because not even in a good way. In a totally bad way.
Yeah, so
you want an army, and then she's like, she's doing examples. She tells all the Cybermen that are there in the graveyard to like about face and turn left and right and whatever. And then, but Danny Pink didn't, even though they just deactivated his emotions, but it didn't work, and he loves Clara still. And
is that what happened? I just thought they didn't deactivate his emotions.
No, maybe they didn't.
I don't know. Who cares?
Wasn't the whole point like because the Doctor was like, while you were giving your orders, you forgot one thing, you missed one thing because you stupid idiot. While you were too busy barking orders, you didn't notice that he wasn't moving.
You didn't notice that he was
And then the Doctor gives Danny control of the Cybermen,
Yes.
and Danny gives probably some of the worst dialogue of the entire season, where he starts to give them a pep talk like a soldier, like, I'm in control, like, this is now, like, basically think Aragorn's Man of the West speech, but like 1,000 times more cringe and shitty and stupid, and they all fly into the sky and fucking explode. It makes me want to die. It's so bad. It's the worst fucking motivational speech to your army I've ever seen in cinema. They weren't. He totally, like, yeah, exactly. He ordered them to do something else, but they just decided to fucking fly into the sky and die. And then, but after that, we get another semi interesting thing where the Doctor's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill you now." Like, straight.
First we get. Or maybe this is after. First we get
the Kate thing.
The Brigadier. Is that after?
That's after.
Okay.
The Doctor's like, "I'm gonna kill you now," to the Master. Straight up, and Missy's like, "Yeah, that's fair." Like, it's just like, wow, dang, like, because the Doctor.
She's like, yeah, I get it.
Like, the Doctor has obviously killed, but he it's like usually like when he's like shoved in a corner,
right.
And like it's never really like in cold blood like that.
He kills humans, but not as.
Oh, of course, never. Yeah, so it just seems kind of, especially one of his own kind, like, because he was so adamant, like
the last, not really, but
like, because a whole big theme with the original Return of the Master was that the Doctor refused to kill him,
right?
Even in the end with the whole Space Jesus thing, he was like, I forgive you, and then when he's dying, he's like telling him to regenerate. He's like, no, that was good. See. I miss Davies, man.
See, it's crazy. It's like you said that finale sucked when I said it was good. That's wild.
No, it didn't suck. I just thought Space Jesus was better than I thought it was as a kid, and then rewatching it, it's just that one little like patch fix it. Doctor wins.
Right.
But this one is definitely a lot worse. Like the themes and all that, and the relationship between the Master and the Doctor in, what is it called?
Sound of Drums and
the secret of the
Time Lords.
Though, like, all of that stuff, the relationships and all that is really good. And then with Missy and the Doctor, it's not good.
Yeah,
at least in this. I don't remember what the rest are. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna kill you.
Okay, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. So that was, but Danny is still there, and he does it for the Doctor.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, probably the only other good thing he did as a character ever.
So then the Brigadier saves Kate and salutes the Doctor, because apparently that was his last wish.
Yeah, another thing is, I know they had control. That was before the Doctor or Danny had control over the army of Cybermen. Right. That was still when
you were saying.
I was saying
there's only two people
that care about their loved ones. Like, okay, so I get it. Love wins. Like, love prevails over the cold programming of the Cyberman shell that you're inside of, and so it's like. So what? Out of you have the entire consciousness of every dead human.
Yep.
But only these two are able to overcome it. Like, only these two care.
Enough,
like only they care enough. Only Danny cares enough. Like, only the Brigadier cares enough to save his daughter.
Right.
Kate. And then that again, still the whole in the data thing. When Missy's like computer assistant inside the data cube,
the really annoying
the data matrix. I kind of liked him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't care for him.
Anyway, he gives Danny... they never explain it. He gives Danny this iPad that says, like, delete emotions, like, delete your mind. Sure, yes. And it's like, thinking of the evil plot, like, yeah, okay, you would probably want something like that to delete emotions if you're trying to turn all of their consciousness into Cybermen.
Right.
Why do you even need their consciousness? Why don't you just need their dead body?
Well, because... Oh, shoot. What was this storyline? Because the Cybermen, the way they work, they need organic matter.
Right. But why do you need a conscience?
You need, like... It's still, like, brains that run it.
Okay,
That's why
okay.
it-
All right,
remember-
all right. I'll accept that.
Remember back to Davies, we got the where is Garrett?
Yeah,
But remember, there was a story. Was there not a storyline where we got fully unorganic Cybermen? Wasn't there?
yeah. It was wasn't it the giant, the Cyber King one?
Cyber King.
Or no, not the Cyber King one. The what? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It could be Classic Who. I swear it's New Who though. Where there's a storyline where they like evolve beyond that and they are only robots now and they don't need organic matter or consciousness anymore. Or I dreamt
don't
it
know
up.
if- I
It's
don't know.
entirely possible.
I don't know if that's happened yet.
It's entirely possible that I just had a nightmare about that.
Okay.
Anyways, beside the point. Yeah. So then we get finally the only single thing in this episode that even
Is worth anything.
forces me to even consider giving it anything. Which is the ending here where Clara and the doctor meet in a cafe. Basically, they both lie to each other to kind of save each other. Like Clara doesn't want the doctor to feel bad, and the doctor doesn't want Clara to keep traveling with him because he thinks it's bad for her. It's gonna get her killed. And it's really sweet. It's really well written. It's super well.
I really
acted.
like the scene where, so before Missy dies, she supposedly gives the doctor the coordinates to where Gallifrey is, and then that's probably the only good see, because the juxtaposition, because you actually get to hear the overvoice too. While that scene is playing, the doctor tells Clara, lies to her, "Oh, I found Gallifrey." For once, she wasn't lying, but he does go. While that is, he's saying that to her. You get to see him go punch in those coordinates and find nothing.
Yep.
And he like has a epic breakdown moment and starts beating the TARDIS.
Starts throwing things, yeah. That's good because I think that shows the arc of the season and that Clara has been shaped to be like the Doctor, and now she's like got his traits almost. You know, they both lie to each other like that.
I was saying how I don't think the doctor knew she was lying.
Right.
And I think she might have known he was lying. I
think
feel
it's
like there's a
possible,
better
yeah.
chance that she knew he was lying than
Right.
he did about her. And we missed the whole, because he's like, oh, did Danny figure out how to get back or whatever?
Yeah.
How to like, because there was some residual thing with the data, whatever, your consciousness
yeah,
could
who
restore
cares,
your
whatever,
body.
yeah.
And he used, but it only will work on one person, and he uses it. He uses it on the kid. He uses it on the kid. So Danny arc complete. He's not a child murderer anymore.
Yeah, and we talked about it that we're not sure if the data matrix was shut down or not. So it's like, did that just let you come back from the real afterlife or what?
I'm sure we might have missed something.
Because he came back in physical form, the kid. It's not like he went into a Cyberman body or
yeah,
something.
no. He came back in physical form. Yep.
Yeah, that's weird. What is that? Whatever. Who cares? Yeah, you have anything else, or should I just go to notes?
I'm glad Danny didn't come
we're
back.
dead. Oh.
I'm glad Danny didn't come back. I think he's not compelling enough. I don't think he's. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good enough for Clara. I think Clara deserves better. I think Clara deserves someone more like me. But yeah, that cafe scene's the only good one in that whole fucking shit show.
Yeah, let's look at the notes here. First one, good concept, good clon clept. Followed by, I'm going to kill Steven Moffat. Followed by, why? Why must we suffer? And then the only good scene.
Wow.
Anyways, this is a 1 out of 10 for me.
100%.
This episode is fucking miserable. And that means Series 8 is the only series besides 3 and 6. Or no, besides 6 to not get a 10 out of 10. It's the only one besides 6. Crazy. And 6 was shit, if you remember.
Which one was that?
The one where Matt Smith is gonna die, and then Amy's child gets taken, and then then the time all happens at once, and
Oh, I thought that was all right.
shut up, idiot! I hate you.
I
I'm
mean,
talking about
that-
the whole season.
That's probably that's probably the weakest one.
it's still the worst season in my mind. But
Yeah.
let's talk about this as a whole. Do you want to?
Capaldi, like I said, deserved a better first season. He deserved a better first episode and a better first season.
Yeah.
I'm glad he has Clara. That their dynamic, like much like Donna's season, makes it what it
For
is.
sure.
The dynamic between the Doctor and his companion. It does leave you wanting more Capaldi. It's like they didn't ruin him or anything. They definitely started the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But
they did him dirty a little bit.
But yeah, they were kind of. But at the same time, you can almost excuse it because they're like trying to break it in and figure out how to do this new Doctor while also trying to keep a residual audience.
Right.
So, but other than some individual episodes you could watch at any time on your own, not a very good season.
Yeah, I agree. It's got like really good standalone episodes, a couple of them, and then mostly the season itself is pretty rough.
I think it's mostly mundane and then trite.
Yeah,
if I had to describe it.
A good way to put it. And then there's some pretty high highs, but not like insane highs.
Right. We'll get those insane highs.
Oh yeah.
We'll get one insane high, followed by a really, really bad come down.
It's not as bad as you think it is. I promise. The ending's dumb. The episode itself is all right.
Really?
Yes.
You're talking about Hellbent?
Yes. The ending is horrible, but the episode itself is
okay. I don't remember at all, so we'll see.
It's almost good.
Okay. Wow. All right.
From what I remember, at least.
I thought that's regarded as one of the worst.
Because people can't separate things, but whatever. I
have a feeling I'm gonna hate it.
This series is real mixed. My overall average came out to 5.5.
Dang, is that the lowest or is
second lowest?
Okay, well, is it 6 the lowest?
6 is.
What was that again?
I don't remember what the average was. I gave this series a 2 out of 10. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. A little better, not wonderfully better. But I'll go through my episode ranking here, and you can chime in. So I think the best of this series is Listen.
Okay.
Followed by Flatline and Mummy on the Orient Express.
All right.
And then my balls hurt. That's
a good episode.
Where did that come from? Followed by The Caretaker and Time Heist.
All right.
And then Into the Dalek.
Oh yeah, I would put Into the Dalek above both the previous two. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I've got Dark Water, the first part of the finale. Robot of Sherwood. Deep Breath. In the Forest of the Night. Kill the Moon, and Death in Heaven.
What's Deep Breath again?
The first one.
Oh yeah. Mostly agree other than Into the Dalek. That would be higher. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I am disappointed because I remember liking this season a fair amount, but honestly, the lows of this season just really drain you. So even when you get good episodes like Listen or Mummy on the Orient Express, you're kind of just done.
That's very accurate. Because the really dumb moments in a lot of the other seasons, still feel a little bit overshadowed.
Yeah.
And then it's the opposite with this one.
Yeah.
It's starting the dumb shit is starting to overshadow the good stuff.
And that's why this is one of only 2 series so far that hasn't gotten a 10. So it's almost like maybe Listen is a 10, but watching it around everything else was like, oh,
yeah,
please stop.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say. We've got Series 9 next, which has 2 Christmas specials in it.
Let's go.
I think they're 2 of the better Christmas specials, if I remember correctly.
Really? I gotta tell you, I'm not excited.
Just from memory, that might not be the case. I really remember liking Series 9, so if it's disappointing, I'm gonna be real upset.
So over.
I know there's a real shit 2-parter in the middle of it with the stupid Game of Thrones bitch, and that's gonna get me mad. But until then,
Oh no! Oh, it's starting to come. It's starting to hit me. It's starting to come back to me. Oh my god. Oh no. I gotta get out of here.
so join us as we probably just kill ourselves live on air.
Live. The next podcast will be live streamed.
We're trying to catch up to the Chibnall finale before it airs live. So,
Oh
wish us
god.
luck.
Pray for us.
Ain't nobody praying for me. Yeah. Anything else? I hate this shit. I hate this so much.
Why are we still here?
Unless we suffer.